Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from PJ Media dated December 12th, and it says Trump as dictator is a simple case of left-wing projection. Yeah, I've seen on the news a lot lately that there's a lot of left-wing, especially on MSNBC, which is just leftist fantasy world, of them being like, oh, Trump said he's going to be dictator because he said in that interview with Kennedy that he'd be dictator for one day to do what he needs to do and then go back to normal. It's like, oh, like what was wrong with him saying that? Like, okay. And never mind the fact that, your guy is kind of doing all of this right now. But anyway, let's get into the article before I just keep going off on a tangent. Don't actually read anything. And the author says, I've written before of the left's growing hysteria about Trump leading to wild assumptions about what a Trump presidency would look like. The left sees a Trump dictatorship because they have no faith in America, I wrote recently, not me, the author, of course. Says Matt Margolis, who also works for PJ Media, wrote last month, the media keeps, warning that Trump will do what Biden is already doing. Indeed, it's amusing to watch the left get hysterical about a Trump dictatorship when Biden is already giving Trump an instruction manual on how to set up an authoritarian regime. Yeah, it's like Trump's going to be a dictator, and then you see Biden's like persecuting his political enemies, especially the leader of the opposition party. Pretty Putin-esque, isn't it, Mr. President? As Biden is trying to circumvent the Constitution, finding so-called workarounds to give a fig leaf of legitimacy to his unconstitutional proposals. When the courts strike down the workarounds, Biden simply ignores them and imposes his will anyway. Yes, that's what a dictator does. As an example is the student loan fiasco. That's exactly what I was thinking, where Biden tried to cancel $1 trillion in debt with the stroke of a pen. The Supreme Court blocked that effort, but do you think that stopped Biden from finding workarounds to the court's decision? He used and abused his limited authority to cancel several $100 billion in student loan debt anyway. These moves are being challenged in court and will probably be undone, but the brazenness of Biden in defying the rule of law should make all those worried about a Trump dictatorship sit up and take notice. Won't, of course, but it reveals the dripping hypocrisy of Trump critics who wouldn't know true dictatorship even if it came up and bit them in the butt. Wall Street Journal says his administration has failed to enforce the nation's immigration laws, hurling millions of migrants into the U.S. rather than detaining them at the border or holding them in Mexico while they await hearings. The immigration court backlog has doubled to 2 million since 2019 amid a surge of migrants exploiting lax law enforcement. Says the top brass has threatened social media companies with retribution, including antitrust lawsuits, if they don't censor speech that progressives dislike. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in September ruled that Biden officials had violated the First Amendment by colluding with tech platforms to squelch politically disfavored speech about COVID and elections. Yeah, so like this wasn't happening before, and then Biden came along, or I should say Obama's third term, and look what's happening. Just to an extent never before seen in American history, Joe Biden has weaponized the federal government to attack and attempt to destroy those who disagree with him. Who's the real threat to democracy? Yes, seriously, that's like the exact question to be asking. It says abuse executive power, ignore the law, run roughshod over individual liberties, retaliate against political opponents. Mr. Biden and his allies have done exactly what they warned Mr. Trump will do if he returns to the White House. Unlike Mr. Biden, however, Mr. Trump would have to contend with a hostile media and federal bureaucracy that would be throwing pots, pans, and candlesticks at him at every step. As the less depictions of Mr. Trump as a tyrant are likely to fall on deaf ears of the GOP voters who have heard leftists say the same for years, and not only about Mr. Trump. Yeah, I mean, it's all the same hysteria that's coming back. Like Trump could be like, I'm going to make sure everybody has a nice warm meal every day on their plate. I'm going to give everybody money, which, well, let's face it, he already kind of did that. I'm going to make sure that there are rainbows and unicorns all over the place, and everybody's going to be happy all the time. And the media would still be like, how dare he do such a thing? So it says, as long as Biden is acting unconstitutionally to promote an agenda that the left agrees with, they won't raise much of a stink. It's because the left really doesn't believe in democracy, or America for that matter. Yeah, remember when they say democracy? Democracy is just a code word for them. It actually means, when they say, like, this is a threat to our democracy, they mean liberalism. Okay, because if you notice anything about them, like the article says, they don't actually believe in democracy. They're like they're authoritarian tyrants in waiting. It says the law impedes achieving social justice and needs to be ignored or done away with to achieve larger goals of equity and inclusion. But Trump is a threat to the republic? Yeah, exactly. Trump is not the threat. Trump is the solution. He is the temporary band-aid that we kind of need to have. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that it's correct that all of this is just caterwauling on the part of the left and that they're just projecting onto the right, as the headline here says? Or do you think Trump really is going to be a dictator? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.